Welcome to This Explainer. Look, it has been an absolutely insane week in the world of artificial intelligence. We've just been hit with a complete fire hose of updates, new models, and massive leaps in capability over the last few days alone. I know it's a lot to take in, but my goal today is to cut through all of that noise, filter out the hype, and show you exactly what actually matters using the hard data and examples we have right here.
To make sense of all this chaos, we're going to organize things into 5 main buckets today. First, GPT 5.5, doing more with less. 2, the visual AI evolution. 3, designing with Claude. 4, agents and open source models. And finally, number 5, wildcards and real-world AI. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, GPT 5.5, more with less. So, OpenAI just dropped this brand new model, right? And the big deal here is that it carries way more of the mental load by expertly inferring what you actually want. Let's talk numbers, specifically API developer pricing. Up front, it looks like a price hike. The cost actually doubled from $2.50 per million input tokens up to $5. But, and this is a huge but, you actually save resources in the long run. Why? Because GPT 5.5 is just so much smarter at figuring out your intent, meaning it uses way fewer tokens to get the exact same job done. It's this really fascinating trade-off. You pay a bit more up front, but you get massive efficiency gains, which means way less time pulling your hair out over prompt engineering. To put that intelligence into perspective, just look at this benchmark data. On Terminal Bench, which basically tests how well an AI can run operating system commands, GPT 5.5 scored an 82.7%. Now, why does that specific number matter? Well, Anthropic recently hyped up this model called Mythos. They controversially claimed it was literally too scary to release. Well, Mythos scored an 82%. That means GPT 5.5 is now the undisputed, absolute smartest model on this benchmark, sitting right out in the open and beating the model that was supposedly too dangerous for the public. Okay, but how does this actually feel for you and me, the everyday users? To test this out, our source threw an incredibly vague prompt at the AI. Help me build a plan to be healthier. That's it. No age, no specific fitness goals, literally zero context. Let's see what happened.
This comparison right here brilliantly illustrates this capability leap. So the older GPT 5.4 gave a perfectly fine but super generic response. You know the drill. Get some sleep, eat clean, do some simple cardio. Pretty standard. But GPT 5.5? Without even being asked, it dug into past conversations and whipped up a hyper-tailored plan. It remembered a historic habit of skipping meals and eating all calories at dinner. It even mapped out workout days, noting that since Thursdays are busy recording days, that should definitely be a rest day. It even proactively made a custom travel routine. Just think about how much time and energy that saves you.
Moving right along to Section 2, the visual AI evolution.
While the text models are getting incredibly smart, the leap we saw in visual generation this week is just as staggering. I want you to focus on this number, 1,500. This is the brand new high score on the LM Arena blind taste test leaderboard for image models. To really put that into perspective, the previous top dog, Nano Banana, was scoring in the 1270s. And the rest of the major models, they were all clustered way back in the 1100s and 1200s. Images 2.0 completely blew past all of them. We are talking about a massive, undeniable shift in human preference for AI imagery. So let's dive into Images 2.0 and see what it can actually do, because it's not just about looking pretty anymore. It can render incredibly dense text flawlessly. Imagine generating a fully readable newspaper page or a complex UI mockup. It can also create 360-degree equirectangular images, and it uses its own world knowledge to fill in the gaps for things like scientific infographics. But honestly, the wildest part? It can generate functional, scannable barcodes. Seriously, one user asked it to generate an image of the book Good to Great with a barcode on it. When they scanned that AI-generated barcode with their actual phone, it linked directly to the real book. That is insane. This isn't just art anymore. It's pure functional utility. But hey, OpenAI wasn't the only one making waves. Ideogram dropped a massive feature this week too. They're now allowing users to train their own custom visual models. It is super simple, just a 3-step process. Step 1, you upload between 15 and 100 images of a specific brand or art style. Step 2, you train the custom model. And Step 3, suddenly every new image you generate perfectly matches that specific art direction. For anyone dealing with brand consistency, this is an absolute game changer.
All right, that brings us to Section 3, designing with Claude.
Anthropic has completely flipped the script on how we interact with visual creation through Claude Design. Sure, it lets you collaborate on really polished visual work like pitch decks and wireframes. But the hidden superpower here? Animation. By simply typing a basic text prompt like highlight Las Vegas on a map and zoom in with an animation, Claude will instantly write the code to generate a smooth After Effects-style animation right there in your browser window. You used to have to hire a motion designer or spend hours pulling your hair out in complex software to get animated bar charts or map zooms. Now, you just ask for it in plain English.
Anthropic also introduced this feature called Live Artifacts, and it's brilliant. Basically, this means Claude can now build interactive dashboards that connect directly to your live data flows. Let's say you connect it to a Google Sheet or an Excel file. If that source file updates, boom, your Claude dashboard refreshes automatically with the real-time data. On top of that, they're integrating Claude directly into Microsoft Word, so the AI is officially moving out of that little chat window on the side and directly into your live updating workflow.
Moving to Section 4, Agents and Open Source Models.
This is the space where AI stops just talking to us and actually starts acting autonomously on our behalf. A perfect example is the new universal agent support in the developer terminal called Warp. It turns the terminal into this incredible, seamless loop. At 0 seconds, you can have an AI agent write the code. By 15 seconds, a completely different agent is debugging it side by side. At 30 seconds, you, the human, drop in an inline comment. And by 45 seconds, the agent instantly updates the code. It literally turns the developer environment into a collaborative swarm of AI workers, and you're just the one overseeing the whole operation.
And the models powering these agents, they are dropping at breakneck speed. Just this week alone, we got Google's DeepMind Deep Research Max, which is absolute state-of-the-art for autonomous research. Alibaba dropped QN 3.6 Max, plus an open-source 27 billion parameter version for agentic coding. And then there's Kumi K2.6. This is an open-weight model that is actually beating last week's state-of-the-art proprietary models in major coding benchmarks. The gap between the walled garden paid AI and open-source AI is just shrinking by the day.
Finally, Section 5, Wildcards and Real-World AI.
Let's take a look at how all this crazy technology is actually landing in the practical world. We're going to rapid fire through these because there's just so much. OpenAI released an open-source privacy filter that runs entirely locally on your machine, masking your personal info before it ever hits the cloud. They also released ChatGPT for clinicians, which is completely free in the US to help doctors with medical documentation. Over on social media, X rolled out custom timelines powered by Grok, which curate personalized feeds based on your exact niche interests. Oh, and HeyGen launched Hyperframes, using Claude Code to let you literally prompt high-quality MP4 animations into existence. The real-world utility here is accelerating so incredibly fast.
Now, amidst all this amazing tech, we did have some major industry drama this week. Remember Anthropic's too scary to release Mythos model we talked about earlier? Well, it leaked. Unauthorized users actually managed to gain access to it. Objectively speaking, looking at the sources, this sparked a huge debate about AI marketing tactics. It was perfectly summed up by OpenAI's Sam Altman. He heavily criticized Anthropic's strategy, essentially pointing out that marketing a product by claiming you've built a dangerous bomb, but you're willing to sell a shelter for $100 million, well, it's highly questionable. It is a really stark reminder of the intense, cutthroat competitive pressures simmering right at the top of the AI industry.
And finally, as if this week wasn't already wild enough, we're ending on this. Over in China, 4 humanoid robots competed in a physical half marathon, and they finished it in under an hour. Let that sink in. That is faster than the vast majority of humans could ever hope to run it. So we've seen AI master logic, write code autonomously, flawlessly generate art and animations, and now it is literally sprinting past us in the physical world. It leaves us with one massive, really provocative question to end on. What finish line will AI cross next? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll see you next time.